Yo, 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 welcome to Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the ttfplproleague. It's your boy Michael, and we're back again with another episode to preview Game Week 30. And it's been a while, 2 weeks and counting, since the last FPL Game Week, but we're back hot and sweaty this midweek with Game Week 30. And we have an action-packed episode. We have the wildcard team, my plans for the upcoming game weeks, and of course, Captaincy Corner. So without further ado, we have to kick things off with, of course, how my team did way back in Game Week 29. So if we venture a ways back, you would see that it's a small red arrow. Unfortunately for my team, we went from the 15k down to 17k. But when you take a -8 just to kind of stop the bleed and just cover some of the damages, you would absolutely take it. So if you look at how my team lined up with the -8, it was Cells in goal, unfortunately 1 point from him. Gabriel and Castagna delivered the goods, 5 points for Gabriel, 6 for Castagna, 2 from Mikolenko. Bowen could only manage the assist for 5 points. Bruno Fernandes, one of the guys we bought in for the -8, a massive 17 points. Clivert, 2, and Bueno, 6. Evan Nielsen blanked. He was the second guy we bought in. Haaland, just a goal and 1 bonus, so 7 points for him as well. The third guy that we bought in the -8, and our captain Chris Wood with a blank for 4 points on the captain. So if we had gotten the captaincy right, if we had just put it on Haaland, it would have turned into, well, a no arrow. We would have held rank, and if we had put it on Bruno, it would have been a nice green arrow. But sometimes that's how the fantasy goes when you don't get the captaincy right. So instead of moving on to the red flags in my team this week, we're taking another route. So up next, it's a wildcard team for all the wildcarders in Game Week 30. So this episode is being taped just after Man City defeated Bournemouth in the FA Cup. As we know right now, Haaland was substituted with an apparent injury, so I don't know how devastating the injury could be to Man City's season, or if it's just a precautionary substitution. So we're moving with that in mind. So looking at the wildcard team for Game Week 30, we're moving with Raya in goal, because we know now that Arsenal have a double game week locked in as Crystal Palace won their FA Cup game, so he will be the preferred keeper. And the number 2 in goal, if you have a high team value and you could squeeze Cells in, Cells would be preferred over Areola, but Areola has a nice Game Week 33 fixture versus Southampton. For those who are looking to bench boost in 33, that's the best chance for a single game week clean sheet, and Areola is quite cheap, so he's the best under 4.5 option. But if you have the option to go for someone like Cells, I'll definitely take that route. In defense, the back, we having a great back 5. And the top 3, you're going to see these a lot in a lot of teams, being Munoz, of course, Crystal Palace, projected to have the double in 32 and 33. Gabriel from Arsenal, another Arsenal defender. Dan Bird, Kirkes, and of course, Vardiol. One little asterisk next to Vardiol, though. We saw him move into left centre back with Nico playing the left back in the FA Cup second half, so something to definitely keep an eye on, because if Vardiol is playing centre back going forward, he wouldn't have the same utility as a 6 million defender. So just something to keep an eye on if you're not moving for him this game week or you're not wildcarding. But I think that back 5, the solid back 5, you're going to be in the doubles, and of course you have the upside with the bench boost if you're going for Game Week 33. In midfield, number 1 pick that I'm seeing from all the teams, and especially me for wildcarding for his price and the upcoming fixtures, is going to be Sa, accompanied by Clivert, just simply for the price. Of course, he'll have free transfers with 433, so you could take the points from Clivert right now and use one of the transfers to move into a double game week in 33 if you want to take that route. But for 30, 31, and 32, I think Clivert is a magnificent pick. In the third midfield spot is going to be the highest scoring player in the game right now in Salah. No doubles projected, but this guy could score double game week points in a single game week, so he retains his spot. I really like the value of Mikel Merino right now. We do know Arsenal tackle Real Madrid in the Champions League. Saka now making his way back, so I'm not too sure how his minutes are going to look. Not too sure how Martinelli's minutes are going to look either, as well as Odegaard for his price. So I think Mikel Merino gives you a cheap price into Arsenal's midfield with the double and the great fixtures ahead. And the fifth midfield spot, according again to your team value, you could go Gordon, and if you don't have the money, Murphy. I really like one of the Newcastle boys here, but it's team value dependent. And in attack, I think this attack is what you're going to see everywhere. Mateta projected to have 5 games in the span of game week 32, 33, 34. So you have to have him in the team. Isaac, double game week in 32 projected, great game week 31 fixture, so he's in the team. And the final spot is going to be Erling/Marmoush. So if you do have the funds there to get Erling in, maybe you could ride out the Leicester and see what happens, but I would prefer to go Marmoush if you have any doubts on Erling's fitness, as he will be the guy that will be striking for Man City. And we hope that he could retain a spot going into the double, but there are a lot of points to be had between 30 and the projected 33 double for City, so Marmoush could be the guy to go on wildcard. And that is the wildcard team for Game Week 30. And now a quick look at the red flags and solutions in my team. If you look at how my team is lined up right now in the goalkeeping position with no wildcard to use, I think I'm content with Sells. Would like to get a replacement for Fabianski somewhere down the line, but I have time. So Sells will retain a spot, pretty happy there. In defense this week, it's going to be Munoz, Gabriel, who are 2 of my top 3 defenders going forward. So pretty happy with them. And Liverpool have a great fixture on paper. Kanate expected to start, so I have no problems with my starting back 3. Eventually, I'd want to move on Mykolenko and Castagna, but right now, I don't have the free transfers to do so. So pretty happy with the defense. But for those who are looking for a defender, like I said, Vardio is one of the defenders at the top of the list. If you could afford him, I think it's definitely worth to go in for him in Game Week 30 with City playing Leicester. I think that is the entry point for him. In midfield, pretty content. The only problem I have there is that the Sa entry point is Game Week 30 versus Southampton, as you'd want him for 32, 33. Price, very helpful to helping bring in other assets, great fixtures. Again, 30 is the entry point. So while I'm pretty happy with my midfield 5, Sa is someone who needs to be someone very soon to play for my team. And finally, in attack, this is where the red flags are popping up. Chris Wood, don't know when he will be back for Nottingham Forest, projected to be out for a little while. We definitely want confirmation on that. If that turns out to be true, he'll have to be moved on. And of course, the Erling Haaland injury that happened about an hour ago in the FA Cup. So we're not too sure on what is going on. Erling, early substitution. So if those 2 guys can't go, well, we're not too sure on Erling, as I said. There are 3 strikers at the top of the list, and I don't have any of them. If Erling is out, of course, Marmoush becomes a priority. Isaac was sold last week. Need to get him back, especially for 31 and 32, as he plays Leicester in 31 into the double in 32. And Mateta, Southampton in 30. Not too good in 31, but then back-to-back doubles in 32 and 33. So it's basically pick your poison. Of course, Mateta is also working his way back from an injury, so we're not too sure on the minutes. Nketiah took 20 minutes off him in the FA Cup and scored, so maybe Nketiah takes some more minutes off him as he ramps up his minutes back from injury, but definitely will be eyeing him up for 32. So not too bad options in striking position. Marmoush, Isaac, Mateta are all buys now and going forward. And this brings us to the segment, what are my planned transfers this week? And now with the Erling Haaland red flag up in the air, yellow flag up in the air, the injury up in the air, it looks like the -4 will have to be taken this week. And we have 2 routes. It's either going to be Marmoush and Isaac in for Erling and Wood. So Erling and Wood out, Isaac and Marmoush in for the -4. If we have positive news on Erling and we want to hold him for the Leicester, because we would definitely want him for the double if he's ready to go with no injuries, and for Leicester if he's not injured, it's going to be Bruno out and Wood out for Sa and Isaac. I don't think there's any way around getting Isaac back. I'll definitely want him for 31 and 32, so might as well take him back versus Brentford, with them just winning the Carabao Cup in his last game for the club. I think he'll be up for the fight versus Brentford. So definitely looking to get Isaac back in immediately and as soon as possible. So 2 routes, either Marmoush and Isaac in for Erling and Wood, or Isaac and Sarr in for Bruno and St. Chris Wood. And now is the final segment of this week's episode, and of course, it's the captaincy corner. So if you have any dilemmas on who to put the armband on, have no fear, as captaincy corner is here. And this game week, the number 1 captaincy option for game week 30 now is potentially out. We're not too sure, but he will still be number 1 at the time of recording. I'm speaking about Erling Haaland versus Leicester. He was bought last game week with this fixture in mind to captain him. So if he's fit and ready, he'll definitely captain, but we will need to get more information on that injury. So Erling at number 1. At number 2, Salah. I don't think you could go wrong with Mo Salah. I think some people still had him at number 1 over Erling going into this game week. So if the Erling news is cloudy, I think it's just default Mo Salah captain for this game week. Number 3, Marmoush, the guy who should be playing with Erling, that now could replace Erling, would come just under Salah. So if I have Salah and Marmoush, I'd rather lean to Mo Salah. So Marmoush coming in at number 3. At 4, it's the Carabao Cup winner, Isaac. Great game versus Brentford. He'll be up for this game after winning the cup with Newcastle, their first cup in a very long time. And the cheeky ball played this game week, of course, if you're looking for something off the cuff and very differential. While I'd like to lean Mateta versus Southampton, not too sure on how the minutes are going to look with him working his way back from injury. So I'm going to go with Ismail Issa from Crystal Palace. I think he has the best opportunity to go big inside forward versus Southampton, spells trouble. So he could definitely be on for a whole. As you know, Southampton is not playing very well this season. So team to target definitely. So Sarr, cheeky ball play. And that concludes Captaincy Corner for Game Week 30. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. It's been fun to be back after a nice little 2-week hiatus, just getting a little sabbatical to get the mind back and, and get the juices flowing as now we enter the home stretch. So while you listen to the video, don't forget to like the video. Go down in the comment section, say if the pick's picking, if you have an alternate wildcard team, if you don't like the picks, if you have better picks, or if you find that you're doing better than me, you could just go there and strut your stuff. And while you're there commenting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Every subscription helps. Very appreciative for everyone looking at the videos, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, and enjoying the content. So all the best as we enter the final stretch for the 9 game weeks, and then we're out for the season. And we have green arrows now, and of course remember the game week is Tuesday and we have another game week on the following weekend. So all the best, and don't forget to do proper things in all walks of life. I'll see you all in the next game week. Peace.